So let's get started then. So I guess by show of hands, how many people here today are looking to dramatically increase the amount of visibility they're getting online in Google? Is it most people here, fair to say? So keep your hands up then, keep your hands up. If you guys are actually serious about implementing some of the stuff here today. Okay, so you're all committed now and we can get started, right? So basically, I'm not a big fan of trying to give average talks. I don't like talks with a lot of fluff. I've got a big mission here today, and that mission is to try and change your business over the next 30 minutes, right? So it's a big claim. We'll see how I get on with doing that. But, you know, ask yourself a question actually. You know, if you could rank top of Google anytime a potential customer of yours types in your service or product, would that have the ability to change your business? In 98% of cases, probably going to be the case, right? So no matter what industry you're in right now, whether your business has been going 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years, whether you're doing good right now or bad right now, more exposure online is never going to be a bad thing for you. So what to expect from today's talk? Okay, so we're going to cover firstly a little bit about who am I, why you should be listening to me, why am I sharing this information with you, why you must take action on the information I'm providing with you, a little bit about SEO as well. People are going to have different knowledge of what SEO is, what it isn't. I'm going to put together an easy to follow strategy for you which you guys will be able to follow, and then just like the honest truth about what you should be considering with your SEO. So who am I? So just to reintroduce myself, my name is Adam Collins. I'm the founder of an SEO agency called Ignite SEO. Basically, we work with small business owners, B2B business owners, and we help them generate a constant flow of predictable leads through their website. And the way we do that is we get them ranking in Google, right? So also, as well as doing that, I run one of the largest business, small business network groups on Facebook. The UK Small Business Network has about 45,000 members. So be sure to check that out as well. I've been featured online and stuff. I've been in this industry for a long time, about 10 years, despite me looking so young, and I'm definitely well placed to be able to give you some information on this and help you guys. So why am I sharing this information? So we need to go back really. If we take a trip back to sort of February 2020, just before the pandemic, it was the last talk I'd done like this, and it was in front of business owners like yourself, and I was teaching them the skills and the strategies in order to be able to thrive in financially uncertain times, ironically, with everything which was about to come. And the big reason for that is, you know, it's all well and good running a business when, you know, the economy's booming, everyone's buying, there's lots of money around, but how battle hardened is your business when the economy takes a downturn, when unpredictable circumstances come around? And then literally, obviously I was sort of proven right a little bit. The month after, no one could have ever predicted pandemic, you know, traditional ways of doing business got absolutely smashed, the economy was crushed. These talking events wouldn't happen, exhibitions wouldn't happen, face-to-face communication, word of mouth wouldn't happen, you couldn't give your business card to people. People weren't even ordering things like leaflet drops, right? Because I remember I was getting leaflets through the door, I wasn't touching the leaflet. So all of those traditional methods of business got absolutely hammered. But yeah, ask yourself a question, why did the usage of Google go up tenfold? And it's simply because people were changing their buying habits at a much faster rate. So this was always going to happen. I've been saying it for years. All what COVID did is it just basically shortened that time scale. Think, why wouldn't you order online? It's more convenient. You're not going to catch something which could potentially kill you. You could probably refund it better, faster. They send you like the box, you can send it back really quickly. It's usually cheaper to buy online. Why have companies like Amazon, companies like Google absolutely exploded? And that's the reason why, because they're positioned on Google when people are searching for them, right? So it's one of the main reasons all of the customers I'm working with right now, the big thing about what I'm sort of stressing to them is that organic SEO, so organic ranking, should be at the forefront of their business strategy for the last quarter of 2021 and then into 2022. So who am I though to sort of say that SEO has the ability to help you get through bad economies? Well, especially because you guys don't know, I've said I've been in this industry for 10 years. Well, previous to this agency, I ran a full service web design agency. We were very, very good, had some great customers, national customers. In August 2020, I was so convinced that SEO was the right medium for business owners to go down. I completely niched down and went all in on SEO. I genuinely feel that what businesses need right now is an expert in one specific core competency rather than sort of a jack of all trades agency. So that was the reason why I did it. So August 2020 to now, we've managed to generate, we've got about 40 plus customers on recurring plans with us, so they pay monthly with us. We're doing very well, we've grew our team. I'm not saying that to like brag or anything. It's basically all came from organic SEO visibility. I don't cold call, we're starting from zero. So this stuff really does work, and you shouldn't sort of kid yourselves that it's not. I heard a lot of things. I think Mark, who's taken the video today, was saying he was at a conference the other day and people were saying SEO is dead. It's definitely not dead. Lastly then, before we get into the presentation, I sort of wanted to commend you all as well for sort of coming today, spending half an hour with me, but also coming to these events. It's so easy with all of the sort of negativity. There's pandemics, there's fuel shortages. If you're watching the left-wing media, they're saying one thing. If you're watching the right-wing media, they're saying something else. Everyone's puking negativity on you. So to actually come out, leave the comfort zone and come to these events, I commend you all, especially for spending half an hour. So I'm going to try and give you as much knowledge as I can in 30 minutes so you guys can get a lot of success online. So if you've got a piece of paper, I'd like you to pull out a pen. I'd like you to write down take action now, and I'd like you to circle it, exclamation mark next to it, underline it, and then put it away, right? So the true beauty of what I've done today is I've basically got it all recorded. So anyone, if you want a copy of this, the proper recording and all the slides, just come to me at the end. I'll make sure I get you a video out so you'll be able to rewatch it and stuff. Plus, no one ever takes action on the notes they take in meetings anyway, so it's much better that you just focus on the presentation. Okay, so let's go into a little bit about SEO. So obviously people are going to be on different knowledge, so I don't want to sort of start speaking too advanced, so I'm going to cover some of the very core elements. Firstly, so what is a search engine? Back to basics. So in the 90s, search engines were the big thing. Now it's really pushed by Google and Bing, mainly Google. I think like 98% of people use Google, right? But some of the old school ones, I'm sure, like some of the classics, Ask Jeeves, AltaVista, those types of ones used to be a big thing. Ultimately, all a search engine is a way of being able to search and find what you're looking for. Now, search engines have progressed quite dramatically over the years. So here's a basic search engine here. You've got your ads at the top. You've got your featured snippet section here, which is really easy to get if you know what to do. You have the people also ask questions here. Again, if you know what to do, those are really, really easy. And then you have these organic listings. What's quite telling though is that actually if you have a look now, this information here and this information here is presenting users with the information directly within the search engine before they're even clicking through to your site, right? So people now are using these search engines to get information quicker and faster. Again, if you know what to do, it's quite relatively easy to get into these slots. But still, even with all of that, over 25% of people now click the first position in Google, and then it drops quite a lot. So 15% for position 2, 11% for position 3. If you're at the bottom of page 1, you get 2.5%, which isn't a lot. But then if you actually consider, if you were on page 2, you're nowhere. It's like having a billboard in a desert. So the goal here is to get you at least in the top 3 or in the top 1 for your trophy phrases. So how does Google select the pages which it's going to rank? Well, that's based on 2 core elements. One is authority and one is relevance. So authority basically is how powerful your site is in the eyes of Google. I'm going to say Google because search engines, Google's the one you want to go after. So how powerful is your site in the eyes of Google? Now the way Google determines that is by who links to your site. Is there a trusted figure who links to your site? If so, that passes authority, it passes trust, and Google then starts seeing your site as being more powerful. So authority is one. The second is relevance. So if you think about it, what content on that page answers that searcher's query best? So if someone's searching for what is a sole trader, You shouldn't be trying to push a page for it which is trying to sell a sign up and we'll set you up as a sole trader service, because the person isn't looking for that. They're looking for information. What is a sole trader? If someone's saying set me up as a sole trader into Google, you shouldn't try and rank a blog, right? Because it's not the right intent. So what you need to do is you need to make sure you've got an authoritative website. You need to make sure your content's relevant for the keywords you're trying to rank for. So the 4 sort of step strategy I'm going to try and whiz through as fast today as possible is there's site fixes first. So there's no point you trying to build a site on sort of unsolid foundations, like a house, for example. You need to make sure that the site is bug free and it's easy to crawl for Google. Second is keyword research. This is often overlooked by business owners who are trying to do it themselves. They think they know the keywords. They start dropping the keywords into their pages. What I'd recommend you do is sign up for a keyword research tool, do extensive keyword research, really play full out at it, and then move on to content. So producing content on a consistent basis around the keywords that you found. And then fourth, what we're going to cover quickly is link building and a little bit of PR. So these are the exact same strategies I use to get results. This is a escape game company based in the Midlands. They get 40,000 monthly organic visits in Google. This is a national company. This is Biltong. We started in May down here. This is after about a year. So Google SEO does take a time. So they get about 2,500 visitors. And this is my site as well, which is, like I said, started in August. You can see it's nearly been about in August. We get about 8,500 visitors a month. So before we get started, I think the key thing which you guys have to remember is SEO is definitely, you have to consider 3 things: time, money, and the ROI. So I'm not here today to tell you how to do SEO for free. I'm not saying it can't be done, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and give you the best strategies which are going to reduce your time input. I'm going to try and tell you the most effective ways that you can spend a little bit of money and again save your time, and what basically combining both of those, what's going to combining your time investment and money, what's going to give you the biggest return on investment. Okay, so let's go. So let's go through SEO audit first. So there's 2, the SEO audit and the content side we're going to glaze over pretty quickly. The keyword research and the link building side I'm going to put more time in. I did a talk before, so if you do need, those are the ones I've got stuff which you can do. There's a lot of information online on that. So audit side, you've got things like meta descriptions, titles, robots.txt files. What does all this stuff mean? And my recommendation to you as a business owner would be just don't really worry yourself too much about it. I would sign up for a free trial to Sitebulb before you do anything. Sitebulb is without doubt one of the best pieces of technical auditing software you can do. I think you can get like a 30-day free trial. Run a full audit on your site. It will give you what's wrong from priority, from like high, medium, low. Then I'd run your site through GTmetrix, free tool, to check your speed of your site, and I'd export all of that into a big CSV, and I'd go into Upwork, find someone who's a WordPress developer who's going to be able to fix these for you. Upwork is an amazing resource to be able to do that. Or pass it to your web designer, obviously, but Upwork's great. But what my recommendation would be, don't go for the cheapest guy, go for someone on there. Write in WordPress developer if you're on WordPress. Find someone who has proven track record. It's going to be a lot cheaper than, say, going to an agency. Get all those things fixed first before you move on to the next step. It's pointless. Like I said, it's like building a house on sort of unsolid foundations, right? It's going to like tip over and fall over if not. So this is one of the areas I wanted to sort of focus quite a lot on. This is definitely, if you do right, could be one of the key areas to actually being successful online. It's one of the most ones where people look over, completely glaze over. For this, I'd recommend you sign up for the free trial of SEMrush. You get a 30-day free trial of SEMrush. SEMrush is like a keyword research tool, tells you a lot of information about your site. Again, you should be, even if it's a 7-day one, you should be able to do this in a couple of days anyway. So you'll be able to do it, cancel your subscription, and you should be away. And you're just going to need Google Sheets, which is free. Okay, so this is, I don't like to sort of overcomplicate things, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3 into how you do this, and again, yeah, you can have the slides at the end, right? So, firstly, make a list of your seed keywords in your Google Sheet. What seed keywords are, they're very broad, top-level keywords that you know you need to cover through your site. So, for example, let's say if you're a pet company, dog beds or dog toys, okay? You can start going and making a list of, say, some of the child's effects, so maybe like luxury dog beds, but don't get too hung up on it. We'll come back to that later on. Really, you just want like the top-level keywords, broad keywords that you want to rank for. Sign up for the SEMrush free trial. Spend like half a day before trying to do it, just get familiar with the SEMrush interface. Really, really easy to use. You can put a keyword in here, so you see dog beds. If you take this phrase, 135,000 searches per month. That's obviously very difficult, gives you a difficulty score. If you're a very, very new site, going for keywords which are less difficult, you're gonna have a much higher chance of ranking. And then what SEMrush really does well is it provides you all of the phrases which are similar. So broad match phrases around dog beds, so like large dog beds Aldi, you wouldn't want that, donut dog beds, etc. And it gives you all of the search frames next to it. So you're going to be able to gather a hell of a lot of information about doing this prior to you picking what keywords to go after. Next, create a SEMrush keyword list. So it's really easy. It says, right, I want to create a list, call it dog website, for example. And then what SEMrush is going to allow you to basically do, what SEMrush is going to allow you to do is going to allow you to create a massive list of all these keywords you want your website to rank for. So all you need to do then, each of those seed phrases you put in your Google Sheet, just type in dog beds, that one. And like I said, you've got all of these, this information here of the keywords that you want to rank for. And then it's literally a case of ticking the little plus box next to it in order to add that to your list. So it's really, really simple. You're going to want to not include things like Aldi dog bed. You're not Aldi. Pets at home, so you want to remove them ones. But things like this, like raised dog bed, 6,000 searches per month, Carmen dog bed, dog sofa bed. So dog sofa bed has 6,000 and keyword difficulty of 27, which is significantly less than all of the rest. So you might be like, well, this could be something which we put a bit of a focus to and we can start pushing forward with. So create your list. SEMrush have really incredible filters at the top. You can search by all the keywords. You can search by questions. So there could be like questions like, how do I know the size of the dog bed? Is the dog bed waterproof? All those types of things. This will tell you what people are searching, what questions people are searching. This is really important. And then you can use these things here. So like keyword difficulty. Let's say you just want to target very, very low competitive phrases, what you could probably produce content for and rank really easily. You can say, right, I only want to see ones with keyword difficulty under 20%. So you want to do that and build a decent list. Okay, so next thing you want to do is for each of your seed phrases, SEMrush again has an area here and it tells you the top ranking competitors. Click on their one, go through to their page, and it will tell you all of the keywords that page ranks for. Have a look again, any there, add to your list, and keep building your list up and up. You can't add the same keyword to your list twice. What you're going to want, people think it sounds crazy. If you do this right, it's really, really easy to get 1,000 or 2,000 keywords in most niches. You want to go full out at this for half a day or a day. Try and cover every possible variation of keyword, part of your business area, and build up this amazingly big list, and then export the list so it's nice and easy. Okay, so before we go on about how you work those keywords together, it's worth knowing something, and this is huge, and it's where most people go wrong with SEO now. This is the old way of doing SEO. You create a page on your website, you chuck some content on. Google doesn't want that anymore. Google's way smarter than that. It's why people are getting absolutely bashed in Google recently. Google wants authorities on topics. So it wants you, so like this silo structure here, for example, it wants you, let's say if this is dog beds, to cover as many topics about dog beds as possible. Luxury dog beds, cheap dog beds, and then have blogs, the best dog beds for hypoallergenic dog beds, or best dog bed for dogs with eczema. Do you know, it wants you to completely cover that topic in full, and then it wants you to internally link them all together. So Google's like, well, who do I rank? Do I rank this guy here who has one page on dog beds with 200 words on? He thinks, oh, well, I want to rank at Google. Or does it rank this one here where it's going, wow, not only are they trying to rank for dog beds, but they also are recommending people to all of these amazing amazing resources. They've also got cheap dog beds, expensive dog beds, best dog beds for large dog beds, etc., right? So when you're thinking about your site architecture, try and cover the whole of the topic in as many, not in as many pages as possible, but you don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure that the topic's covered. Okay. So this is a bit of a time-consuming one, and again, this comes back to, do you want to pay a little bit of money, like £14, or do you want to do it for free? Now you've got your 1,000 odd keywords, or let's say 200 keywords if it's a smaller site. Put them all into Excel, and you basically want to start coupling them together. So like all of these keywords here, best dog bed, quality dog beds, all going to fit on the best dog beds page. Then we've got puppy beds, best puppy beds. That's going to fit on the best puppy beds page. Calming Dog Bed UK on the Calming Dog page. So what you're going to want to do is go through and actually start coupling these keywords together into logical pages, right? Could do that, or if you sign up for this tool, this is a tool which only SEO people know, and a lot of SEO people don't know. It's called Keyword Cupid. It's completely free. It uses machine learning, and it connects directly up to Google's API, its language API, and it will actually, you upload your list to it, takes 2 seconds, it will spit back out after about half an hour. All of these couples done for you. It will say these 5 keywords should go on this page, these 5 keywords should go on this page. This tool is so good that for an acne site, which it was like acne skin cream, it was able to distinguish skin creams which were for people with just general acne for like natural causes, and it was able to distinguish the difference between a product for women who get acne when they're pregnant. So it's insanely, especially if you're not an expert in the industry, it's an insane piece of tool which is going to save you a ton of time. So I'd recommend sign up for that. I think they have a free trial as well. Okay, so what you should have now is you should have a list of all of your pages. Don't be scared if the pages are like you've got 250 pages you need to cover. You can obviously do that over the course of the next year. Google actually likes consistent flows of content, like a content velocity. So 2 new pages per month, or 2 new blog posts and a service page, or 5 new blog posts and 3 service pages. So once you've got that strategy together, what I would probably recommend you do, like I said, the content one I'm going to whiz through a little bit faster. Use a visual tool like Glue Maps. Basically, it's like Lucid Chat, if you ever use that. It's like a mind map tool to basically map out your content plan and your silos, what we showed before. So dog beds, luxury dog beds underneath that, what are this dog bed, etc., etc. Step 2, so here's just some tips. Make sure that when you're creating your page in WordPress, include the keyword in the URL at the top. So like /cheap-dog-beds. Don't call it like, you'll see sometimes it will like question mark, page ID 55 XYZ. You don't want that. Google's going to read that, so you're going to want to include your keyword in the URL. Thirdly, use short URLs. Try not to make it like go on forever and ever and ever. Keep it nice and concise with your keyword. Front load your keyword in your title tag. So the title tag is the bit which goes along the top. It's the bit which gets pulled out into Google. It's one of the biggest ranking factors when it comes to on page. You would want dog beds to be at the start, taking the dog beds analogy, of that title tag. You wouldn't necessarily want it at the end. Use your keyword once in the first 150 words of content. So when Google's crawling your site and the crawler's going through it, you think if you're going to rank for a keyword, it's probably best that you put the keyword at the top of the page, right? H1, H2s, H3 tags. So your H1 tag you should have 1 of. That should sit at the top of the page. You want, again, to make sure you have your keyword in that H1. And then from the research you did before, each of your pages should have like 3 or 4 keywords on, right? You've been coupling your keywords into pages. Use those secondary keywords in your H2s and your H3s, which are like subheadings underneath. You're going to cover a lot more of the topic, and what you're going to find is, rather than ranking for 1 keyword, you rank for like 60 or 70 on the same page. So it covers the topic again in much more detail. Optimize your image alt tags and the file names of your images, so make sure that the keywords are included within that. And then again, the silos which we've worked out before, dog beds one, internally link that all to each other. So all the dog bed pages you want to internally link to the other dog bed pages. What you don't want is to link, say if we've created a best dog bed, best hypoallergenic, is whatever it's called for eczema, dog beds, you wouldn't want to link that to like your cat side. You want to make sure that it's only relevant pages which are internally linking with each other. Okay, so off page and links. How long do I have? I'm going to whiz through this. So how link building helps your site. So this is the second part. So you've got your keyword research, you've got your content. Now we need to let Google know that we're a powerful authority in the space. The way that works is by getting other websites to link content, to put a link through to your website. These are good links. You can also get bad links. What you want is real trusted sites in your industry, in your niche, linking through to you. So common off-page factors, things like what you can do is you can blog on other people's websites, you could run a PR campaign, you could create like a PDF which is shared around, you could do things like directories and citations. Here's an example of a link here where I've been featured on Yahoo News. So Ignite SEO, the new marketing agency helping businesses thrive through the pandemic. You can see this little link here, Ignite SEO. That goes to my site. Google goes, wow, Yahoo News are trusted as hell. They're linking through to Ignite SEO. Maybe Ignite SEO are trusted as well. And then that passes authority from one to the other. People will always have a debate whether you should pay for links or not. If you speak to people, they go, well, you're breaking Google's guidelines by paying for links. You're breaking Google's guidelines if you ever want to sort of manipulate the search engines to try and put your site there, right? So the thing is, what we're not doing, we're not going to say we're going to go and pay for links, so pay someone to create 100 links for us. However, we are potentially going to reach out to someone in your niche and go, okay, you also have a blog on dog beds or dog toys or whatever. If we produce a blog for you and we give you £50 for your time, would you include an article and link back to ours? People understand the value of link building now, so you're gonna have a real hard time if you're not paying a little bit. Even buy them like a bottle of wine, bottle of whiskey or whatever. So this is a really great strategy. We use this on every new site we get. Step one, build 50 to 100 citations first. Bang, let's say it's a bang new site, you've never done anything before, 50 to 100 citations. Citations are just business references. So like things like Yelp.com, Yal, Thompson Local, they reference your business's name, address and phone number. What you're gonna want is that's great at Google understand, especially if you're a local business, you've got a Google map. This is a great way of Google going, okay, these guys are based at this street, this address, etc. So build about 50 to 100 of those first thing you do. Again, what you don't want to do, I've got a list of 100. If you want the list of 100, I'll give it you. What I would probably do, you're going to spend hours doing that. Use a service like Bright Local, they're a UK company. They charge $3, so it's like £2 per citation. Just pay them once. Again, I'm not affiliated, it's not like anything. It's just going to save you a ton of time and get them to do that. That's going to start building a little bit of authority to your site. Step two, run a press release. You could go find a big PR company and spend thousands of pounds. I wouldn't probably recommend that. What we want is, again, we want references online of articles on trusted places where Google's going to go, okay, I'm starting to see company name pop up more and more around the web. It's starting to get a bit more of a presence. You can use a site like Legit, again, not affiliated in any way. This guy here has a press release for $87, goes out to about 400 sites. If you want to spend a little bit more, you can get on things like Yahoo News, like the one I showed, AP News, etc. Market Watch, that's like $400. It's up to you. You can spend what you want to spend. Either way, if you guys have ever done PR before, you know that usually it costs thousands of pounds anyway. But this is always the second step we do with any website. Helps build a lot of trust, and it's a pretty cheap way to get quite a few links. Next, what you need to do is look at your industry, look for what industry directories there are. So there's a really big one in SEO called Clutch, where you see trusted reviews. It's very hard to get reviews on there. They call up your customers, ask them loads of questions, etc. So it's quite a trusted site for web design and SEO agencies. Get yourself signed up, obviously not to this, but get yourself signed up to your industry specific ones, get some reviews, and again, this link here links back to Ignite SEO, getting you a couple more links, couple more trust, and people are, Google's gonna start seeing you as an authority. Again, what I'm trying to do here is give you sort of as many sort of hacks in a way. This is definitely a really easy hack. And again, I can potentially give you a list of these as well. It's a really easy way of generating links. These won't necessarily pass tons of authority to your site, but it will help build trust to your business. Sites like Pinterest, igniteseo.co.uk, that links back. Sites like Trello allow you to put it in. There's tons of Reddit, etc. I've got a list again of like 100 of these we can give you. Either you could do it yourself, or get like a VA or someone to do it, or like an apprentice to do it. But that's a great way again of Google going, wow, like these have got all these like social profiles. The next way, and this is once you've done all of those, you've exhausted all those lists, you're going to start looking at potentially putting guest posts. All guest posting is reaching out, like I said before, to a site. I go, hey, we're in the dog niche. We see you're a dog blog. If we produce a 500-word article for you on the benefits of choosing XYZ, and you include a link back to our dog site, will you put us on your site? And they usually say, yeah, 50 quid, 100 quid, 200 quid, whatever. Obviously, you don't have to go with all of them. Very rarely people will say, yeah, we'll do it for free. Now, you've got a couple of options with this. Either do it yourself, which is a good learning experience for you. If you want anything, I could give you some information on that. It's way too much to cover in this. But again, make a list of the sites in your niche, send them an email, hey, producing some content, would love it. They'll always come back with a cost. Decide whether it's something you want to pay. Don't pay more than like 60, 70 quid for it. Produce the content, upload it to their site, pay them obviously once the link's live, and then what you've got then is you've got a blog on their website linking through to yours, and this is one of the most common ways of building links and power. Again, if you want to speed that process up, you've got a couple of options. One, people use link building agencies. So these are like the trusted 4. These are probably like the McDonald's, the cheaper side of it, Fat Joe. But even them, Fat Joe, you'll spend like 240 quid per link for like something you could genuinely either do yourself by like reaching out to people. So people do use these though because it saves a lot of time. The other option, and this is again another hack, which a lot of people won't tell you, go to a site like People Per Hour or freelancer.com and just literally search guest post. Now, I'm going to give you some key core metrics you're going to want to check the sites first. But like sites like this, MarketWatch has a DA of 92, just out of 100, very, very strong. 30 pounds here. If you've ever had those emails from spammy companies when they're like, oh, we can get you listed on these, people sell you this for like 250 quid. So you can get ones like MarketWatch, Thrive Global, that's DA 80, DA 90. You can get lots of genuine, decent quality guest posts from places like People Per Hour. Cut out the person in the middle, like the middleman, and potentially look at opportunities like that. If you're ever going to get a guest post on a site, there's 4 sort of core things you want to look at. Is it a real website? If you go onto the website, you're obviously starting it, and it's saying buy a guest post at the top, buy a link at the top. Do not go and get a link on that site. That's like a red flag to Google going, hey, we accept money for posting, right? So, and then if that's linking through to your site, that could pass negative, like a negative trust score over to your site. So the second is, does the site have real traffic? I'll show you how to check that in a minute. Is the site powerful? So you want links from powerful sites. Not all sites are the same, right? And fourth, ideally, if it's niche relevant, is it in your niche? What I'd recommend, these guys have a free trial. No, I think it's like £7 trial. Fantastic tool. And what it is, you can put the Ignite SEO in, or like whatever the site is you're looking to get the link on. It will tell you the domain score here, 40 out of 100. It will tell you how much traffic they're getting, so you can do those checks. You can also do the same checks in that SEMrush tool. They have the exact same information in there. And there is, I think there's a free one called Uber Suggest. It used to be free anyway, that you can use to get some of this information out of. Like I said, it's not a do SEO for free presentation, it's do SEO effectively. So if you are going to do your own link building, probably best you do this. You're not going to want links from sites which are like DR5, DR10, because it's not going to pass any power to you. The honest truth is, obviously, I've tried to cover as much as I can, probably went a little bit over. I wanted to try and give you a lot. I could have went on for hours about link building and content, etc. I've tried to give you some hacks in this. A lot of people obviously go, I don't want to do that, and that's the reason why they hire an SEO agency. This is the reason where if you speak to an SEO agency before and you're trying to barter them down on cost, like do it for £200 a month, you've already seen there's direct costs everywhere for tools, you've got to pay people for links, links, you've got to pay people for content, and that's the reason why a lot of people say SEO is dead, is because they'll use some guy off Fiverr who says he can get them ranking for £100, right? It's just harder to do than that. That's why a lot of people obviously hire agencies like myself to do it. If you are looking to do it yourself, follow some of the information there. That's actually a really, really great way of starting your business, especially the stuff on the keyword research and the link building. If you need any more resources, obviously I can give you some resources online, but ultimately SEO isn't crazy difficult. Get your site sorted out, make sure it's not got too many bugs. If you're on WordPress, you're already halfway there anyway. Make sure that you do extensive keyword research, you know all of the keywords you want to rank for, then produce really good content on it. Look at the people ranking for it, produce better content than them. Make sure you include images, videos, or whatever. Just outplay them when it comes to content. And for those more competitive niches, you could do the guest posting, getting the links on other people's websites to point to yours, which again, you can pay for. So always like to do an exclusive offer at the end for everyone anyway. So if you guys do want an SEO health audit, it's always good to see what's wrong with your website before spending loads of money on all these other types of things. We'll have an expert SEO consultant run through all the critical areas of your site, basically about 50 odd checks. We'll go through all of your technical stuff. We'll tell you we'll either pass or fail it of what is there, what's failing. If it's failing, we'll give you notes on how to fix it. On-page audit, and then we'll also do an off-page audit. So we'll tell you what links you have, what dodgy links you should probably remove, which we'll tell you how to do. What you'll also get, you'll get half an hour consultation directly with me. I'll take you through all of these findings. I'll show you how to fix everything, obviously on the call, which you can then pass to your developer or do it yourself. And then we'll deep dive further into your site. We'll look at more keyword research. We'll look at the opportunities available, and also we'll give you the 50 citations, which I mentioned before. We'll give you the 100 social media platforms. It's usually 495, it's 150 plus facts. Not a lot of money. It's a good way of knowing where you are now. It's not a big pitch. It's not something which we're going to make a lot of money on. But if you do want that there, it is a good way of sort of seeing where you are now, so that you can judge, you know, do I need to rebuild my site? Do I need to do this before you start spending thousands of pounds or hundreds of pounds on buying links and doing all these other areas? So that's pretty much everything for the presentation. Been an amazing audience, obviously, and if you've got any questions, fire away. No? Thank you so much. Like I said, if you want a copy of the video and the presentation, just leave your business card and I'll send it through to you as soon as I have them. Cheers guys, thank you, have a great day.